The Pittsburgh Steelers have made a bold and controversial decision that's already stirring emotions within the fan base. For years, the Steelers have built their identity around a strong team ethos, one that values discipline, hard work, and commitment to the collective success of the team. They've never shied away from making tough decisions, even when it means cutting ties with talented players if their attitudes or work ethic don't align with the team's core values. This is why many fans are now bracing themselves for a difficult reality. George Pickens, the team's standout wide receiver, may not be receiving an extension when his rookie contract expires. As it stands, Pickens is entering the final season of his current deal, and after the 2025 season, he will be free to sign with any team. With this looming uncertainty, Steelers fans are left with a burning question. Will the Steelers trade him to capitalize on his immense talent, or will they take a different approach, continuing to develop him in the hopes of molding him into the professional player they expect from a rising star? Steelers insider Mark Kaboly recently weighed in on the situation, offering some insights into what he thinks might unfold for Pickens in Pittsburgh's future. In a recent mailbag feature posted on his social media account, Kaboly laid out his thoughts, giving fans a glimpse into the tough decisions facing the front office. Kaboly made an interesting observation, stating, "It just doesn't seem like good business to extend Pickens at this point in his career." He explained that unless Pickens has an extraordinary season in 2024, it may not be wise to lock him into a long-term deal just yet. Instead, he suggested that if Pickens were to play at a high level, the Steelers could consider using the franchise tag on him in 2025, allowing the team to retain him for another season, while keeping their options open. However, Kaboly believes that there's a much higher chance that the Steelers could look to trade Pickens before the November deadline if they don't see a long-term future with him, especially if they decide to bring in another top-tier wide receiver. The tension around Pickens' future is undeniable. Despite his undeniable talent, the situation has been complicated by the rocky state of the Steelers' offense in recent years. Pickens has had to deal with subpar quarterback play and a historically bad offensive scheme, circumstances that would likely have stifled a lesser player. However, throughout these challenges, Pickens has still managed to stand out, becoming the one consistent source of offense for the Steelers over the past 3 seasons. In those 3 years, Pickens has racked up 174 receptions, 2,841 receiving yards, and an average of 16.3 yards per catch. He has also caught 12 touchdowns, showcasing his ability to make big plays when it counts. His numbers might not be jaw-dropping in the grand scheme of the NFL, but anyone who has closely followed the Steelers' offense during this time can attest to just how valuable he has been. But despite his impressive production, it's clear that some fans are frustrated by Pickens' approach to the game. While many acknowledge his immense talent, there have been concerns about his demeanor and attitude on the field. Pickens has shown flashes of brilliance, but he's also been known for his on-field outbursts and occasional lapses in maturity. His emotional reactions, while understandable given the frustration of playing on a struggling team, have rubbed some people the wrong way. To some fans, it's a reflection of a bigger issue: his professionalism. This growing frustration has led a portion of the fan base to believe it might be better for both sides to move on from Pickens and pursue a different path. This sentiment, however, isn't shared by everyone. There's another faction of Steelers fans who firmly believe in Pickens' potential and want to see him remain in Pittsburgh. They recognize that he is, without question, the team's most dynamic offensive player, and argue that the Steelers should work with him to improve his maturity and consistency, rather than throwing in the towel prematurely. After all, the Steelers have always had a strong track record of developing players, and with the right coaching, there's no reason Pickens couldn't evolve into the player they envision him to be. So, what's next for Pickens and the Steelers? Will they decide to trade him away, potentially capitalizing on his market value before he hits free agency? Or will they give him another year to prove that he's worthy of a long-term commitment, hoping to see the growth they expect from a player of his talent? As it stands, the situation remains fluid. The Steelers' decision will have major implications, not just for Pickens' future, but for the team's long-term plans. It's a crossroads for both the organization and the player. And with so much uncertainty surrounding the team's offensive future, it will be fascinating to see how things unfold. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think? Should the Steelers extend Pickens and work through his growing pains, or is it time to cut ties and move on? Do you believe in his talent, or do you think he's not the right fit for the franchise's future? Share your thoughts